Week 2 of the NFL is finally upon us, and that means it is now time for another slate of weekly predictions. Now, there are 15 more games to go through, other than Thursday night, which I also predicted correctly. Again, I always just end up making these videos after Thursday night football. And before the game, like very few of my peers who live in the DMV area, I predicted the Packers to win, and I got it correct. You can ask my football coach. I agreed with him on this. What can I say? So, as I said, we have 15 games to get through, 2 of which are on Monday Night Football. So we will get started with the Giants at Cowboys. Both of these teams did not win last week, so they're already at a disadvantage. But I think between the two of them, the better team is probably the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. And I doubt that the New York Giants are going to get a lot of wins or production until they switch out Russ. Although, you never know. He could have a legacy run like Rodgers is having in Pittsburgh. But I doubt that it's going to happen. So I'm going to roll with the Cowboys to win in AT&T Stadium and get their first dub of the season. And maybe Jerry can spin this to make it seem like he made a good decision by trading away Micah Parsons. So, sorry, Michael Person, if I'm Jerry Jones. So then we move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Seattle Seahawks. This one's weird because the Steelers are coming off of a very offensively oriented game, while the Seahawks are coming off of a very defensively oriented game. Given the Seahawks lost that game, but they also lost by a final score of 17-14, which I don't think is that bad. Overall, I think the Seahawks are going to win only because JSN still had a very good game, even though they didn't really score a lot. And I think that against a apparently bad Pittsburgh Steelers defense, that is going to happen again, and this time with some scoring going on. And that I think the Seahawks defense will be able to make up for the Steelers offense, which sounds like really weird to say. Like, it sounds like I'm talking from the 2000s right now, rather than an actual 2025 game. It sounds like I'm talking about like the 2008 Steelers and Seahawks. But either way, I think the Seahawks are going to win this game, mostly from their offense, but also because their defense can cramp in on Rodgers, force him to make some bad throws, and then get an interception with Witherspoon, even though he's hurt. Who's the other one? Kobe Bryant. Mamba mentality. Not the same guy, but still, it's funny. Then we move on to the LA Rams taking on the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. I doubt that the Tennessee Titans are going to be winning a lot of games this season. This is one of the games that I think they will not be winning. The LA Rams are looking very good to start the season, and that I doubt they are going to win, even though they're in Tennessee, and you would think, oh, that would imply they would most likely have a better chance of winning. I don't think they're going to win against many teams. The only teams I could see them beating are teams like the Giants, the Dolphins, maybe if the Colts decide to be bad again. The Saints. I really can't think of any more. Maybe Chicago. They get lucky. But, like, I doubt that they're going to be beating a lot of teams this season. I don't even know if they play half the teams I just named. But either way, LA Rams to get the win in week 2. We move on to the Buffalo Bills, which is the New York Jets. If you recall last season, the first Bills-Jets matchup did not go well for the Bills, as the Jets had their game-winning, I think it was a kickoff return touchdown. I was going to say punt, but I'm pretty sure it was a kickoff. And that was pretty cool, I must admit. It was also a fluke. And this is also before Josh Allen decided to unlock his Dragon Ball Z energy and become Super Saiyan and win MVP. So I do think that Josh Allen will be able to lead albeit receiverless Bills into a win this week. Even though last week their defense was not present in the slightest and allowed 40 points to the Baltimore Ravens, still think the Bills are going to be able to pull this one off just because of their offense. Because if we remember, this Jets defense allowed like 40-some points to the Steelers, who I just said are going to get shut down by the Seahawks. And henceforth, the Seahawks and the Bills, if they were to clash in this situation, because the Bills can beat up on the Jets, who were bad against the Steelers. But if the Seahawks do well against the Steelers, then Bill Seahawks, I think, the game later this season will be a good game. Why did I start talking about that? I don't even really know. Like, I really need to start scripting my videos. Like, all I have is this. This is all I have. And I just have it next to my camera so that I can refer to it and look that I'm not looking away from the camera, or at least not too far away from the camera. Sometimes I just get into tangents, like this one, that don't really have anything to do with what I'm talking about. But either way, Bills to win. Then we have Patriots, Dolphins. The Dolphins are terrible. Mike McDaniel's getting fired. So, Patriots. Jaguars, Bengals. Also, the Mike McDaniel thing was not like me just saying that. It was also because like I saw some stuff about it, like how he's in a shaky position right now. I saw some reports somewhere. Anyways, Jags, Bengals, two undefeated teams, which I don't think anybody was expecting to hear at all. But I think the Bengals are going to win this one pretty easily. Like, the Jaguars did surprisingly well last week. I fully did not expect them to win. I predicted them to lose. They started the season 1-0, but I don't think they're going to keep that winning streak going. I think they're going to take a loss to the Bengals and be chill again, because they were like very up and at 'em in week 1. But I think they're gonna calm themselves, and we're gonna get to a more firepower heavy game. I doubt there's gonna be a lot of defense in this game. I think we're gonna see Brian Thomas Jr. I think we're gonna see T. Higgins. I think we're gonna see Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, all of them. Oh, and then there was, I don't know if y'all saw this too. There was this really weird trade. So Tank Bigsby got traded to the Eagles. And I use Reel. It's a sports app that like tells you stuff. And the trade was reported by saying, player move, Tank Bigsby to the Eagles. And then the NFL report was there, and it said, breaking news, player who led the running back who led the Jaguars in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns headed to the NFC East, because they want to sensationalize everything and get clicks out of it. This is what I learned in my media communications class. I'm getting smart about these things. But nevertheless, Bengals do it. Then we have the 49ers and the Saints. If this was last week, I would have said the 49ers. But Brock Purdy is out, firstly. Ricky Pearsall is like the only weapon that they can throw to, because CMC is going to run them all. Give me New Orleans. Am I going to end up picking New Orleans like every week? Yes. Do I care? No. Give me New Orleans to go 1-1 at home in the Dome. Then we have Cleveland, Baltimore. This one I was very tossed up on, because I started to circle Baltimore, then I stopped and circled Cleveland. I only say this because I like Joe Flacco. I hit the thing on my chair. One second. I like Joe Flacco, and he hasn't beat the Ravens yet in his career, and I want him to beat the Ravens at some point in his career, because I like Joe Flacco. And my pick is Cleveland with an upset win in week 2, capitalize on the aforementioned apparently bad Ravens defense that takes penalties, and win the game somehow. What can I say? I'm just a master storyteller. And lastly, on the 1 o'clock slate, we have another upset that I'm predicting. Bears-Lions. The Bears have Ben Johnson, who came up with a bunch of nonsense for the Lions last season. However, I do believe that now it will be Ben Johnson's revenge, if that's what you want to call it, for not winning in the playoffs last year. And I think the Bears are going to get the win here, because the Lions felt really bad in week 1. Like, it was just kind of disappointing to watch. Like, they just did not do well. And is that because of the Packers defense? Mostly. But it's just like, overall, they just underperformed so much. And I think that they're going to, unfortunately, do that again, and that the Bears are going to take advantage of that and win in week 2. We move on to the 4:05 slate with Broncos at Colts. This one, I don't know, because if Daniel Jones decides to be the greatest quarterback in football again, then the Colts are going to win. But if he does not, that's the one thing that will help the Colts win. If he doesn't do that, then the Broncos are going to win this game. Because as much as they had what one could consider a stupid win against the Titans in week 1, they are still a good football team. They just had a stupid win against the Titans because the Titans are bad. So it's still a win. A win is a win. Like, come on, bro. What are we doing? Then we have Panthers Cardinals. Honestly, the way I circled the teams, it looks like I wrote a tie. Although I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I'm gonna say the Cardinals to win this one. They had a pretty solid performance in week one. I actually watched that one because it's against the Saints. And that one was kind of, I don't want to say it was disappointing to watch, but if you're looking at it from a Cardinals perspective, they had a really good game. I think they had like 3 sacks, um, maybe an interception in there. I could be wrong. They only allowed 14 points. They were doing pretty poor on the very end of the game drive until Buda Baker just smoked Jawan Johnson, and that was very good. So overall, they're looking really good. The Panthers do not look good. They got butt whooped in week one. Like, I expected them to win that game too. I have like a good feeling about the Panthers this season, but they got butt whooped in week one, and I don't think they're going to win in week two either. So it sucks to be that. Move on to the 425 game, the most notable game of the day, I would assume. Eagles Chiefs in a Super Bowl rematch in Kansas City. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. In the last 2 Super Bowls they played each other, it's 1-1. I'm going to operate on recency bias and give the win to the Philadelphia Eagles because I don't think the Chiefs are winning the AFC this year. I've said that before, and I'm going to say it again because I'm not scared to admit it. My opinion, with my many opinions that I have, is that the Chiefs will not win the AFC this year. And my other opinion that I forgot to mention, Panthers and Cardinals are 2 teams that I also predicted to make the playoffs this year. It was a while ago, but I still did predict that, so keep that in mind. But go Birds at 425 on probably Fox. Then we have Falcons-Vikings for Sunday Night Football. I'm pretty sure they played each other last season in the Kirk Cousins game, so the Falcons lost. But this time it's Penix and McCarthy, first time they've played each other since the national championship. And I think that guy who won the national championship is going to be the guy who wins the Sunday Night Football game. Give me J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings. Then we have 2 Monday Night Football games. We have Tampa and Houston. And I believe Tampa is going to take this one. Houston had a really bad week one. Tampa had a pretty solid week one. And Baker Mayfield will have his usual ball-out game. And lastly, the final game of week one, Chargers-Raiders. The Madison Beer-led Chargers, Justin Herbert-led Chargers will smoke the Raiders. So simple enough as I have now stated. I'll run through them one more time in case you missed anything. So I have the Cowboys beating the Giants, Seahawks over the Steelers, Rams over the Titans, Bills over the Jets, Pats over the Dolphins, Bengals over the Jags, Saints over the Niners, Bucks, Browns over the Ravens, Bears over the Lions. My handwriting is so bad. Broncos over the Colts, Cardinals over the Panthers, Eagles over the Chiefs, Vikings over the Falcons, Bucks over the Texans, and the Madison Chargers over the Raiders. If you agree or if you disagree, make sure to let me know down in the comments down below. Who do you think is going to have the biggest blowout winner this week? Who do you think is going to have the closest game? As I said, make sure to let me know down that way. Make sure you have a good day, good evening, good night, good morning, good dawn, good dusk, go whatever. Make sure to watch any former or future videos on this channel. And goodbye.